I didn't tell anyone, not my mother, not my 3 sisters, not my best friend. I knew where the supplies were. They were in the only bathroom in the farmhouse where our family of 7 lived. I had studied the diagrams in the box. I had read, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret." I was all set. But somehow my mom found out anyway. She asked me one day, "Did you start your period?" "Yeah," I answered insipidly. "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" she continued. "Yeah, I'm good," I answered in the same tone. And that was the end of it. We never talked about the birds, the bees, or my changing body. Sure, she was a progressive mom. She made her own granola, and she drove a VW bus. But she was also Catholic, with Stoic German heritage, and that combination just didn't allow for such conversations. When I became a mom, I was determined that I would do things differently with my own daughter, Delaney. As soon as she could formulate the questions, I was ready with the answers. When she was about 2.5, before her brother was born, she asked me, "What does boy mean?" I explained that Daddy was once a little boy and he grew up to be a daddy, and I was once a little girl and I grew up to be a mommy. "I want to do that right now," she exclaimed. "Do what?" I asked. "Grow up like Mommy." Although I was very flattered, after all, you know what they say about imitation and flattery, I explained that it was better to wait and enjoy your youth while you could. And when she asked how babies get out of their mommy's tummies, I explained with all honesty how truly amazing the human body is. Mommies have a special hole that starts out really small, and then magically it gets big enough for a baby to fit through, and then just as magically it closes back up until next time. Amazing. By the age of 13, Delaney had a wealth of information on her hands, and we had more mother-daughter talks under our belts than anyone could count. During that time, the reserved mother who had raised me had transformed into a free spirit. She had been sending Delaney children's books with titles like Heart Talks with Mother God. She was happily remarried, no, ecstatically remarried to a wonderful man. In retirement, she indulged her heart's desires as a master gardener, a yoga practitioner, a folk dancer, an ice skater, a quilt maker, a poetry writer, and a therapy dog mom. She was also known far and wide for her gentle and graceful spirit, her radiant smile, and always her deep spirituality. So I wasn't completely taken off guard when she called me before Delaney's 13th birthday to tell me her great idea. She wanted to have a welcome to womanhood party. And I am woman hear me roar party. A period party. After all, Delaney was the only granddaughter and was surrounded by a slew of female relatives who could join us. Almost breathless with zeal, my mom explained how we could share stories of what we remembered experiencing at that age. Bring along photos as historical proof. Perhaps do an arts and craft project illustrating our womanhood. I told her I would think about it and run it by Delaney. I didn't want to squelch Mom's enthusiasm, but turning 13 can already be traumatic enough. The reaction I got from my sisters was, "We can't sit around for an entire day talking about our periods, can we?" Would Delaney actually enjoy that? They suggested that I reel Mom in a little. As the middle child and well-established moderator of the family, I considered everyone's various opinions and dutifully came up with a compromise. When the memorable day arrived, we got dressed up and met for a fancy brunch at a local boutique hotel with Delaney at the head of the table. Next stop, a nearby theater for the consummate girl power movie of the year, The Secret Life of Bees. Then we proceeded to the home of my brother and his wife. I think my brother had gone fishing or riding his motorcycle that day. We sat around a table with mugs of tea, piles of magazines and scissors, glue sticks, and a poster board. We assembled a collage of beautiful images we found: the sun setting over a lake, a waterfall, a mountaintop, flowers, trees, and birds, and we integrated photos of ourselves onto the beautiful backgrounds. Then my mother, Grandma Barbara, led us in story time and sharing. She started by describing her 13th birthday party. It was a boy-girl party in her basement in Cleveland, and the year was 1952. In the old photos she passed around, her happiness was unmistakable, the innocence was apparent, and just a tinge of awkwardness could be detected. Of course, my mother also took time to share with Delaney how far feminine hygiene products had come in 50 years. And she described the crazy contraption she had to put up with when she was a girl. My youngest sister and my brother's wife both shared details of turning 13 in the height of the crazy 80s. They too brought photos to pass around, and Delaney got a good laugh at the asymmetrical haircuts, stonewashed jeans, high-top sneakers, and blinding multicolored jackets. To my dismay, Delaney now actually embraces the retro fashion of asymmetrical haircuts, stonewashed jeans, high-top sneakers, and blinding multicolored jackets. When it was my turn, I shared memories of being the new kid at school in North Carolina and feeling like a misfit in so many ways. I had a photo of my lanky, awkward self standing next to a baby goat on our farm, squinting in the sun. I downplayed how lonely I remember feeling at that age. As the party lasted from mid-morning to almost midnight, Delaney listened politely, laughed along with us, and tolerated being the center of attention for an entire day. She was a trooper, and she seems to have inherited my mother's gentle graciousness. And it turns out that my mother really did have a great idea in bringing us together that day. As we shared our memories of both the insecurities and the thrills of being a young teenager, the stories got layered and cemented together like bricks in a foundation for Delaney, a foundation that said, "You're okay and you are loved." And Mom was creating memories for us, like she had so many times before, when she and Delaney had fancy tea parties with big hats and tiny mismatched real china. When she rode Splash Mountain 10 times in a row with her grandchildren. When she made me feel like the most important person in the world. With the time and love she put into scrapbooks and quilts and her culinary feats. When she was first in line to celebrate any good news or accomplishment. When she let loose her unbridled joy. My mom died 4 years ago. During her year-long fight with cancer, we, like most families, didn't believe it was real, couldn't believe it was happening. She had always been so healthy. But it was happening. And Mom led us through that journey with grace and love, and in the end, with a peaceful acceptance. And God knows that death wakes us up to life and helps us become more aware of the beauty, the love, and the wonder all around us. It teaches us to dodge the mundane trap of indifference, and death holds a spot in our hearts forever that cannot be filled by anyone or anything else. I miss her and think of her every day, some days absolutely aching to have her back physically, other days content to feel her spirit around me and to receive small signs from her, like spotting a heart-shaped stone on a path when I least expect it but most need it. Delaney is 20 now, and we still have period talks. There are new, evolving discussions around the subject. Menstrual cups, the plight of women around the world who don't have access to good hygiene products, the pros and cons of different forms of birth control and their impact on periods. She has even studied the concept of menstrual art in college. And if I am lucky enough to have a granddaughter one day, believe me, I am definitely throwing her a period party. There's no telling how over the top it will be. After all, the spirit of great-grandmother Barbara will be smiling down upon us, leading us, and cheering us on.